You almost caught me there. I was plugging in my headphones. I grabbed my headphone jack and I plugged them in, and I was like, whoa, there's music coming through those things. That means it must be about time for me to start talking.
I figured the hard-rocking Madison Rising would get you motivated to start.
Get me moving. Well, I'm moving. I'm ready to go. I hope you guys are ready to go. It's Thursday, the last public broadcast of the week, and we've got a lot of fantastic material for you guys today. We're going to continue on with our Ask Us Anything, but we've got a couple of other subjects that beg our attention, and we just cannot ignore them. The first subject we're going to talk about, actually, at least, 6 or 7... a whole bunch of you guys out there sent us links to this story, and not just the same link. We got links from Gun Save Lives, Downtrend, Fox News, all over the place. You guys are like, ooh, did you see? This was on NRA.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those.
This was on NRA News. We actually got it from the NRA. So we're going to talk about this, but before we get into it, I just want to take a moment to thank everybody out there in the Student of the Gun listening audience for all their support, for being behind us, opening your emails, sending us all the we've actually hired somebody to start actually filtering the emails or going through the emails, because quite frankly we have so many, I just can't do it. I can't do the show prep and the show notes and all that and then sort through emails every day too. It's just and that's good. Don't stop. Don't stop. Now, I will, Jared, you want to give the caveat? This isn't really a caveat to our intelligent friends, but the occasional. You know what we get, Jared? We get kind of like the drive-by occasional people that somehow one of their friends shared one of our links and then one of their friends shared it or something like that. These aren't Student of the Gun fans, and they'll just pop in. And
they should be. They'll
drop, every once in a while you get one, they'll drop this asinine comment, or they'll say something ridiculous, and I say, where did you even come from? Because if you're paying attention, if you're listening, there's no way you would have that question. But I'm going to go ahead and warn you. Should I warn them or should I just do it? I'll warn them. If you go to Student of the Gun Facebook and you post a stupid, jackass-like, some type of asshattery, if you leave it there, be prepared to be rebutted. And if you have fragile feelings, don't leave stupid comments. How's that sound? And I also know this for a fact, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys permission. Some of you guys out there that are fans of Student of the Gun, you might be thinking, man, I read this, and I thought, who is this jackass that popped in here in our little world and left this stupid comment? And you might be thinking, well, I don't want to correct this person. No. It's okay. If you're on Student of the Gun Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and you see a comment from one of these off-the-wall people, these people that obviously don't listen, but somehow they kind of found their way there accidentally, go ahead and correct them. I'm giving you permission to make that correction, because until you start correcting folks, they're not gonna know. Am I right, Jared? If you leave an error unchecked, if you leave a mistruth undealt with, then it just metastasizes and it grows and becomes more nasty. And so you need to check that. You need to, what did Barney Fife say? You got to nip it in the bud. Jared had no idea. Jared, do you know who Barney Fife was?
Nope.
Jared has no idea. Bless his little heart over there. He's such a little young one. No idea who Barney Fife is, but Barney Fife said nip it in the bud. So I'm going to go ahead and give you folks out there, especially grad program members, dedicated hardcore people, you have our permission to nip it in the bud.
Not that you needed it.
But not that you need it, but anyway. I think most of the good people are good followers. They're polite. And a lot of them probably think, I'm not going to, I'll let them take care of it. I won't do it. No, I'm giving you guys permission to deal with it, to nip it in the bud.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah, who are you? I don't think anybody that is listening knows because you didn't tell them who you are.
We're 5 minutes in and I didn't introduce myself. I am Paul Markle, the host of Student of the Gun Radio and Television and all that other jazz. And the voice on the other side of the glass there is Jared. Jared's the co-host.
I'm everything that
the producer
is not.
Yeah, he's everything that I am not.
So, I mean, that's the easiest way
man
to explain
behind
it. He's what
the
I am not, and I am what he is not.
And
sometimes we overlap.
You're getting like crazy Confucius philosophical now.
Yeah. Speaking of stupid comments, I'm going to go ahead and play this for you real quick.
Of Americans can't locate the U.S. on a world map. Why do you think this is?
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and I believe that they should, our education over here in the U.S. should help the U.S. or should help South Africa and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries, so we will be able to build up our future for our.
Thank you very much.
For those of you youngins who don't know who that was Miss South Carolina.
We've been teasing them with that for a while. We finally played it.
Like as such as that. Do you personally believe that?
So now all of you that heard that can, every time I say I personally believe, that's what I'm referring to.
That's what he's referring to. Well, I guess, and these young kids, these young ones, that's been like 6-7 years ago. And I think a lot of these young kids, like, they were in elementary school or junior high. They don't know what that was. Or somehow they missed it. I don't know how you missed that. It had like 53.9 million views on YouTube or something.
And 52.9 million were me, probably.
Do you personally believe that?
I do.
That in the U.S. and the Iraq and in like the South African countries. And I think what we need to do is we need to do a Miss South Africa campaign for maps. We need to make sure that every American has a map. You guys know what? You young kids know what maps are? They're these things made out of paper.
They're on Google now.
They have pictures on them, and yeah, that's true.
Maps don't have to be paper.
That's right. They can. You're so silly. Well, dude, as we step off, we're about 7 minutes into the show already. But I wanted to let you guys know that this the following segment of Student of the Gun is brought to you by XS Sights, the fastest sights in any light, and Velocity Triggers, designed for precision. You want to check those guys out at velocitytriggers.com. Oh, and XS Sights is X-Ray, Sierra, and then Sights, Sights.
And speaking of that, we went to the range yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was
2 days ago.
No, yeah, whatever. Tuesday night.
Yeah, Tuesday night we went to the range, and we did some night stuff. If you follow our Facebook page, facebook.com/studentofthegun, look us up on there, and there's some comparison photos of how an XS sight or how XS sights look on your pistol and how not XS sights look on your pistol. It's actually a really huge difference.
And it's something that you'll never realize if you shoot in bright daylight, in sunny conditions, you shoot at your local indoor range where they have, good overhead lighting. There's no heavy shadows. There's no backlit, no front lit, no side light. If you shoot in ideal conditions, you'll never really be able to appreciate XS sights. But XS sights are not designed for ideal conditions. They're designed for the opposite. And the opposite is where you may find yourself when it comes to defending yourself with a gun. So XS sights, really, that's how you figure it out, is shoot in adverse conditions. Are you ready to go ahead and move into the meat of the episode here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move into the meat of the episode.
I think that's a great idea.
I like to teach you all the rules. I get to see them set in stone. I like it when you chain me to the bed, but then you see it's never shown.
Thank you, Puddle of Mud, for Control. And that, of course, as you guys know, if you're hip students of the gun, you know that is our Slave State News Update. And if you're new, perk up your ears and listen up. All right, this Slave State News comes to us from the glorious People's Republic of New Jersey. And the story is, let me see, I've got the main body or the main source for this is downtrend.com. And the title is, 72-year-old retired school teacher faces 10 years in prison for possession of 300-year-old flintlock. What now? I thought that Rosie O'Donnell and all those Rachel Maddow and all those other liberal left-wing puke faces, didn't they tell us that the Second Amendment is in the Constitution to protect our right to keep and bear flintlocks? And so this should be a no-brainer, right? I mean, if nothing else, you should be able to walk around with a flintlock. According to the left-wing intelligentsia, that's what the Second Amendment is for. So if you have one of those, you should be good to go, right? I mean, is the People's Republic of New Jersey within the borders of the United States of America, or is it outside of the borders of the United States? I'm not sure. I might have to look at a map. I was going to look at a map, but like most U.S. Americans, I don't have a map. No, I'm kidding. I actually do have a map. But before we dive into this, like I said, this story has been shared with us. It was on Fox News. It's been on downtrend.com, Guns Save Lives, pretty much every gun blog in America. And the NRA News did a story, and we're going to pull a clip here in just a second from the NRA News story and let you take a look at what exactly is going on there in the People's Republic of New Jersey.
Beware of New Jersey. Don't come here. Don't live here. Here I am, retired teacher coming out of his house in handcuffs, who had a flintlock pistol, and now I'm charged as a felon. It's unbelievable. It's outrageous. It's an insult to decent people.
It's a mid-1700s flintlock bona fide anti-pistol, unloaded, and yet he's facing the same draconian penalty as if he had a .44 Magnum loaded on his person. It doesn't matter, and there's no distinction.
All right, so for those of you who didn't catch this story this week, let's just dive into it here. The story here is from Robert Gale, G-E-A-H-L, or Gela. A 72-year-old retired school teacher now faces 10 years in prison for possession of an unloaded 18th century flintlock pistol. Gordon Van Gilder taught in New Jersey in the New Jersey school system for 34 years. He is a collector of 18th century memorabilia, and for those of you that went to public school, the 18th century would be that time between 1700 and 1799. Okay, I know a lot of you guys went to public schools. I need to clear that up for you. But it says right here, he bought the flintlock and kept it unloaded and wrapped in a cloth in his glove compartment when he had bought it and had kept it unloaded and wrapped in a cloth in his glove compartment when he was pulled over for a minor traffic violation last November. Van Gilder consented to a search and told the officer that he had the flintlock and that was his undoing. Wow. Now, they didn't arrest him on the spot. Check this out. So the next morning, several patrol cars showed up and he was placed under arrest. Let's break that down for you because there's so much stupid floating around in the air right now. A lot of you you're like, what now, Paul? What did you say? A 72-year-old guy has a flintlock pistol, a single-shot flintlock muzzle-loading pistol. And it's wrapped up in a cloth. He had purchased it. He'd stored it in the glove compartment. He gets stopped for, I don't know, speeding or whatever, a minor traffic violation. And he consents to a search of his car. Well, number one, that is his undoing. You're like, well, here's the deal. You guys think you're good people. You think you have nothing to hide. And they say, the police officer says, you mind if I search your car? Let me go ahead and hip you to this real quick as someone who was a policeman and did traffic stops and so forth. If the police officer had this thing called probable cause to believe that a crime had been committed or was in the middle of being committed, they don't need your consent to search your vehicle. If they have probable cause, that is, they could go in front of a judge and stand in front of that judge and articulate the reason that they believed that a crime had just occurred or was ongoing, then they don't need probable cause that is their probable cause. They don't need your permission to search your vehicle. The only time that a police officer will ask you for permission to search your vehicle is when they do not have probable cause. Because if they already did, they wouldn't be asking for your permission. You would be standing on the side of the road, probably in handcuffs, in front of their car as they went through your vehicle. So, I'm not being a jerk here, and don't write me letters about how I'm anti-police, because this is the family-friendly hour, and I'm not going to say because why. Here's the deal, dude. This is the United States of America. This is not East Germany. Yeah, there was an East Germany. I know you guys don't know that, but look it up. So he says, he thinks in his heart, I'm a good guy. I have nothing to hide. But what he doesn't know is there's a member of the Gestapo, the New Jersey Gestapo. Go ahead and write me letters. I dare you. A member of the New Jersey Gestapo who finds this, doesn't arrest him on the spot, lets him go about his way, and the next day, several patrol cars.
Because they were scared.
Because this 72-year-old retired school teacher is obviously a threat. He's obviously a dangerous menace to society. Because, let me guess, he's on parole and probation for multiple felonies. Oh, no. We're not worried about those guys. Okay. Says, and the story continues. It says, New Jersey's draconian laws place these 300-year-old pistols in the same category as modern handguns. Well, we already told you that New Jersey thinks that BB guns are firearms. Your Daisy Red Ryder in New Jersey is a firearm. Didn't someone who resembles me very strongly just say last week, Jared, that New Jersey was lost and to get out of New Jersey? I could have sworn it was somebody who looked a lot like me.
No, but there's people fighting the good fight.
Oh, that's right.
In these states.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the New Jersey Firearms Coalition or whatever, and they're fighting the good fight.
How's that working?
How are they fighting for this guy right here? Where were they when this guy is being led off in handcuffs?
When somebody tells me, I've gotten a couple emails in the past, week or so, that have mentioned people fighting the good fight in these states. And my question to those of you who say, well, what about the people fighting the good fight? My question to you is, what better way is there than removing the funding that you're giving the state? What better way is there to fight the fight?
Well, fighting the good fight, how? I vote once every 2 years. I post on Facebook how annoyed I am. Okay. Whatever, folks. Just keep lying to yourselves, whatever helps you sleep at night. The voice you heard in the beginning of that clip was the voice of Mr. Van Gilder, and then the second voice you heard was his attorney. But yeah, Van Gilder is represented by Evan Knappen, a well-known attorney specializes in gun law cases, and thus will be well represented and could be hoped, as well as could be hoped for this case. This is insanity. Fortunately for him, listen to this. It was Knappen who successfully represented the Philadelphia nurse Shaneen Allen, who was charged with an unlawful possession of firearm after she entered New Jersey with her Pennsylvania licensed handgun. This was the nurse who had a Pennsylvania concealed carry permit, and her mistake was driving over the state line. And they were going to lock her up and throw away the key too, until a judge said no, and they dropped the charges, which is nothing less than amazing. However, it talks about that. It says the outcome, however, took direct intervention of the state's attorney general and prodding from presidential aspirant Chris Christie. Chris Christie, I don't trust him as far as I can throw his big, gigantic butt, and that's probably not very far. Chris Christie is the ultimate rhino. He's the ultimate person. He's a politician with he has the convenient R behind his name. When it's convenient to be pseudo-conservative, then he is. But Chris Christie is not our hope for the nation, not even anywhere close. But ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We have a 72-year-old retired school teacher in the unlawful possession of a flintlock pistol. How dare this peasant? How dare he? When are they going to start? Maybe they need Jared, I got an idea. Truth in advertising here. Maybe the New Jersey police, every cop in New Jersey. And first of all, go ahead and write me a letter from New Jersey and tell me, don't you dare paint us all blah, blah, blah. I wore the badge for a long, long time. And if you wear the badge and you think it is your duty to find and arrest 72-year-old men, retired school teachers, I don't care if he's retired or not. If you think it's your duty as a law enforcement officer, well, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. Bull crap. Bull crap. You do have a choice. When I was a police officer, I had a choice. I could choose to arrest or not to arrest based upon the evidence that was in front of me. And don't give me this, they're just following orders crap either. But I think, Jared, my idea is this. Truth in advertising, I think that what they need to do in the People's Republic of New Jersey is trade in all their polyester stuff, and they need to wear bright scarlet wool coats. What do you think? And high-top black hats. I think that would be more appropriate for the people and those guys there in New Jersey. No? Yes?
I was thinking blue helmets.
Well, now I'm going historical on you there. Maybe they might want to take a little expedition up to Lexington and Concord and seize the weapons from the peasants, seize their ball, powder, and cannons. That could be. All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about something fun, something entertaining. Jared said that we're going to go ahead and pick up right where we left off with what's the next one up on our Ask Us Anything?
The next question up on the Facebook page here is from Chris Dominus, and he says, what would you consider the best way to store a Patriot Arsenal in home, considering both child safety and quick access for home defense?
We already did that one.
Yeah, we pretty much already did that one.
Yeah. All right, rewind and listen to the previous answer.
Don't rewind. You got to listen to 2 episodes ago, right?
No, it was
Tuesday?
No, it was
Monday?
Wednesday, Knucklehead.
It was Wednesday?
Yeah.
Wow, it's only been a day.
I know.
Wow.
We
okay.
did a lot of stuff. Next.
Okay, let's see. Blah, 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 blah.
Talk, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Just pretend like you hear stuff.
Boop. Turn
Okay.
the page.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Demosthenes Grim? How do you say that?
I don't know. I'm not looking at it. I'm waiting on you.
Demosthenes Grim. What is the best way to deal with a person seeing your gun, such as a child that starts yelling about your gun? The best option is not to have it seen, but sometimes it happens, like the Walmart tackle. So, yeah, if somebody sees your gun and starts, hey, he's got a gun, what do you do?
Don't live in New Jersey. No, seriously.
That's a legit question.
It is a legit question. Hopefully that first of all, what I would do is, if you don't need to use it in like self-defense, if you're not in a self-defense situation, raise your hands up to chest level, open your hands, and give the it's okay. Put your back to something quickly so that some well-meaning artard doesn't come up behind you and put you in a chokehold, like a stanchion or a wall or what have you. And if you're legal, this also goes into the someone said recently about the nightmare that every CCW person has, every concealed carrier. They have this nightmare that something will happen and their gun will fall out, that it'll drop out of the holster, or they'll drop it in public. And people are guys are super paranoid about that. They're like, oh, if my gun falls, did I commit a crime? Am I culpable of a crime if my gun falls down? Well, depends on where you live. If you live in an open carry state or an area where it's either or, if your gun falls to the ground, it's an oops. You pick it up, you put it back in the holster, you wipe the egg off your face, and you move on with your day. You're like, sorry about that. Because let's face it, if you're legally allowed to carry it, you're not breaking the law. Now, the problem you run into is if you live in one of these states that issues concealed carry permits, but also has the menacing statute or the printing statute, or basically Texas used to be this way and then they fixed it, thank goodness. But if someone sees your gun, then it's no longer concealed, and you have violated the law by allowing public view of your firearm. Well, then you're in trouble because you allowed public view, and in some states you can be charged with, menacing or aggravated menacing or some similar verbiage there. I know in Texas it used to be if someone could, quote, see the outline or interpret the outline of a gun, then you were, printing, and it was against the law. So in that case, you could be in trouble. If you're 100% in the right, put your hands up and say, look, I have a permit. If you're in, here's the deal. If you're in Arizona, if you're in Vermont, if you're in Alaska, where else is, in Mississippi, if you're in any state that allows legal open carry of a gun, that's a non-issue because it's lawful. And whether or not it scares the chickens, whether they choose to pee down their legs or not, it doesn't matter because you're not breaking the law. The only time you're going to be in trouble is if you're in one of those states where, someone seeing your gun makes you a bad guy. So, raise your hands up. Tell them, look, I've got a permit. Go home somebody else's leg.
All right, next one. Let me paint a picture for you real quick. Let's say you're in the bathroom at your favorite restaurant. You hear gunshots. Zip it up, draw your pistol, and rush out to check on your family. Another good guy is holding his gun because he has already stopped the bad guy. Mm-hmm. How will the two of you know not to shoot each other? Training. That's my answer.
Well,
how can you avoid shooting or getting shot by another good guy?
Pay attention to what's going on. Take the entire scenario into. If someone's standing over someone and they're pointing their gun and they're like giving directions and saying you stop, whatever. If they're a bad person, they're probably in the middle of it. Can I tell you?
This is
you won't get shot. No. What?
This is the intent part of the three checks that you need.
Ability, opportunity, and intent.
You'll have red flags and you'll know beforehand. But if you're in the bathroom,
I don't know, dude.
Just analyze the situation.
Here's the deal. I've been playing this game. I've been doing this law enforcement instructor, defensive tactics instructor, whatever. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, more than 20 years. And you can what if anything to death. It's literally. If you what if enough, you can basically talk yourself out of carrying a gun. If you do that. There's no way, even in scenario training, even in live training, force on force training, there's no way that you can possibly address every situation that you could be in because everyone is going to be different. It's like snowflakes. The best that you can hope for is to make sure that you're as skilled as possible, as trained as possible and practical, that you understand the difference between opportunity, ability, and intent. And just go from there. Sometimes it's going to suck and you're going to be in the wrong position and you might get shot. But I'd rather be in a position where I might get shot but might not also than in a position where I'm helpless and there's nothing I can do but hide under the table and hope they don't find me and kill me and my family. That's a position I'm not going to put myself into. Yeah, I might get shot defending my family, but if my only choice is laying under the table and praying that no bad person comes over or they don't get to me before the police show up, that's not my defensive tactic. So, and you know what? I would rather, I'm going to be completely and totally honest with you here. I would rather die fighting. I would rather die fighting and than live cowering under a table. So, and that might not be the answer that, the fact is there's so many variables in there. There's going to be people pointing, the beginning, the end, the middle, the staff will be running around, the people will be pointing, people will be screaming. There's too many variables.
The answer to that question is get as much knowledge and training as you can before that point happens.
Yeah.
To be able to make the decision in that
That's
second.
why we do things like scenario training and force on force training, because we just actually had our cop friends in here today, our cop friends from Pass Christian that we did the force on force training with a couple of weeks ago. And what they're going to do, believe it or not, they didn't perform perfectly. But what they're going to do is, we shot a bunch of video for them, is they're going to analyze the video and figure out ways that they can make it better. And that's the whole reason that you do force-on-force training, is not so that you can do it perfectly the first time. Because the first time you do it, you're not going to do it perfectly. But you build on that, and you can take those lessons and apply them to the real world. All right, moving on.
Next, does the D-bag in office scare you, and why?
No. The D-bag that's in the office doesn't scare me. The D-bag that's in the office disgusts me, saddens me, and the D-bag that is is in office is not actually the disease. The D-bag that's currently in office is a symptom of the disease, and that disease is apathy. That disease is comfortable slavery. That disease is rampant liberalism in the United States of America. We can survive Comrade Barry. We can, as a nation. What we can't survive is the mentality, the mindset, the criminality, the corruption that put Comrade Barry in office. We can't survive that. That's what we can't survive. So no, the community organizer scumbag that's currently keeping the chair warm for hopefully a real American, that person doesn't scare me. What scares me the most is the fact that we have so much apathy and so much selfishness, and I guess quite frankly this victim mentality that everyone's a victim and everyone owes me, and that's what scares me. We can't survive as a nation when you have 51% of the people that are taking out and not putting back in. That is what scares me.
That was from Robin Foltz. The next one is from Robert Supin. He says, my neighbor is anti-gun. She knows I'm a gun guy. Any advice for converting her?
No.
No advice.
No.
None at all.
You go ahead and give your advice. I'm sick of trying. Here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to convert people. I'm going to go ahead and pull out The Art of War right here. I have a copy of The Art of War in my hot little hands. As you guys know, we're big proponents of the Book of Five Rings from Miyamoto Musashi, but it was the Book of Five Rings was translated by Stephen Kaufman. It's an excellent translation. Well, Stephen Kaufman also did a translation of The Art of War. And in Book 1 of The Art of War, it says, first, opening line, conflict is essential to the development and growth of man and society. And then you go a little farther in to that, and it says, war does not permit faltering personal belief. Never seek to assuage the non-sympathetic in an attempt to convert them to your way of thinking. Empathy will be seen as a sign of weakness amongst your loyal followers. Men who do not follow instructions can never lead as commanders. They serve no purpose other than to use up valuable resources and create dissension. Dispose of them. Let me go ahead and reread that the middle sentence there. Never seek to assuage the non-sympathetic in an attempt to convert them to your way of thinking. Here's the deal. If they don't want to be a part of the team, you giving them massaging your beliefs and coming up with, they don't want to be a part of the team. You don't need to convert them to become a part of the team. If they come to you and say, hey, I've had an epiphany and I realize that I've been a Dumas all this time, then rock on. But this whole evangelistic trying to convert them, screw them. It's a waste of our time, effort, and also a waste of our resources.
Yeah, and if you guys listened to the interview we did with Sonny last week about the force on force and
2 weeks ago or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. If you guys listened to that, they kind of went over that a little bit in that episode as well.
And I know some of you are out there, you're like, well, man, that's kind of counterproductive. We need those people. No, we don't. Why do you think you need people that are your enemy? Why do you think you need to make your enemy like you? That is exactly why we're in the position we are in the United States of America today, because we think that we have to be nice to the enemy and show the enemy that we mean them no harm. And, you don't show the enemy that you mean them no harm. You identify the enemy, and then you destroy the enemy. Philosophically, most of the time, but that's what you do. You don't defeat the enemy by changing your way of thinking or massaging your way of thinking or bringing them cookies and candy and milk or whatever. So, actually, you guys, you want me to tell them? We're not going to have time for the goat rapist stuff here, are we?
No.
We're already at 35.
Yeah, we got a bunch more questions.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. Listen up, folks. If you're a grad program, if you are a grad program member, if you're a bonus hour subscriber, we've got a whole bunch of Muslim missionary and straight from the mouths of the goat rapist. People say, they're like, no, it's only the misunderstanders of Islam and only the radical extremist fringe wing of, the goat raping community that feels that way. We actually have a clip here that apparently the American news, the American media is going to ignore this clip, but it comes right directly from the mouths of imams or whatever, and they tell you exactly what they're down with. And we're going to play that tomorrow on the bonus hour. All right. So
you want to go to the next question?
Yeah, I was going to say that basically the discussion that I just had and the little clip the quote that I used from The Art of War, that's in the upcoming book. That's in the book that I'm currently working on. We're just teasing them with that.
The Faith in the Patriot book?
Oh, you just dropped it.
That's
the first time that it's ever been said out loud. Oh. Only you and I and our immediate circle have known about that up to this point in time.
Now you know too.
All right. Well, it's got another book. Look for that soon.
There we go. It's going to be underneath. It's going to be under the wing of the Patriot Fireteam series because I know a lot of you have been wanting more.
Before we go any further, it's already 38 plus, almost 38 minutes in here. The following section, part of Student of the Gun Radio, is brought to you by SWAT Fuel. SWATfuel.com. If you make an order at SWATfuel.com, you want to make sure that you use the promo code SOTG2014. Cool story. I turned my UPS driver on to SWAT Fuel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it was like about a week and a half ago. He came and gave me a couple of boxes, and I said, here. I gave him a single pack, and I said, try this out. I gave him two, actually. He gave one to himself and one to another driver. And he brought us some stuff today, and I said, hey, did you try that? He's like, yeah, that stuff is good. I said, you want to order some? Use this promo code. Yeah. And also Brownells at brownells.com. Check those guys out. If you own a gun, Brownells has something for you, absolutely. All right, who's up next, Jared?
They've been serious about firearms since when?
Since 1939.
There you go. That's their new motto. Anyway, so the next question comes from Joseph DeLuca, and he says, do you suggest using the laser light training system to practice drawing and firing first shot as fast as accurately as possible using your carry firearm?
Laser light.
The
laser. Well, here's the cool thing about lasers, whether it's a laser light, whether it's a laser grip, whether it's a laser anything. The red and or green lasers are excellent training tools if you're going to be doing dry fire training. Now, you got to be careful because some people will teach themselves to chase the dot, and that's something that you don't necessarily want to do. But the great thing about using a laser is, if you use a bore-lined laser, then you know exactly where the shot would have hit when the dry fire round went off, when it went click. And also, if you use a red or a green laser, it lets you know just exactly how much your gun is moving around when you're lining up your sights and you're trying to press off the shot. Most people, the first time they ever use a laser device, are kind of surprised because the red or the green dot it's like bouncing all over the place. They're like, man, it doesn't do that in the movies. That red laser dot in the movies doesn't move at all. Yeah, because the red laser in the movies is either A, superimposed by CGI, or B, it's mounted to a tripod.
It's not attached to the gun.
And it's focused in a certain direction. That's why it's not moving. Lasers that are on guns move around a lot. And the less it moves, the better off you are because that means you're doing things right. But yeah, lasers on guns, no matter who makes it, Laser sights and laser training devices are good things to have to kind of augment your dry fire.
The next one, I'll kind of paraphrase it. Why aren't the people standing together 10,000 to 1 against their oppressive government?
Because they're too comfortable. We've said it before.
Yeah, we've said that before.
They're too comfortable. Because they've been convinced through ignorance, distraction, and guilt that they shouldn't do it. They've been convinced that it's not their job, that somebody else will take care of it. Have not learned about civic duty. They think that civic duty means somebody in a polyester uniform has to clean up your messes for you. That's why. And they're distracted by iPhones and pods and all kinds of stuff. And so that's
from Bladen Rexroth. The next one's from Daniel Wilson. I think we already answered one from him, but this is another. This is more of a.
Was he double dipping?
Yeah, he's double.
What's up, Daniel? You double dipping there?
He's trying to get that good guy award.
Oh.
What are your top 3 cigars and whiskey?
Oh, that's way too in depth.
You just can't give like a
I
quick
can't just
list?
give one top 3.
How about your top? What's your favorite cigar as of right now, and your favorite scotch?
You should let me think about that one. But
you had a week.
I had a week.
Okay, not that
you
long.
didn't tell me I was going to do it. Well, all right. The Scotch one is easy. Probably my favorite neat sipping Scotch right now, as far as a blended Scotch, would be the Johnny Walker Double Black. Now, if you were buying it for me, you go ahead and pour me a glass of gold or blue. But if I'm spending my own ducats, it's usually Double Black, or you can get me an 18, a Glenlivet 18 or something like that.
See what he's trying to do? He's trying to, hey,
that.
by the way, this is what I like. You can go buy it for me.
When you come here, if you come to visit the official Glass Case of Emotion studios, the price of entry is Scotch and or cigars. Now, actually, there's a cigar that I was smoking the other day. It was It's called the Lion, like the El Leon or something like that.
I say what happens is we get these big sample packs of cigars, and
they got like 18 different.
Yeah.
They get sample packs, but that's fun. I like the sample packs. I really like. What is it? The fun cigars for if you're smoking outside is the Uzi, the Drew Estates Uzi, or the Mawat. Those are good.
My Uzi weighs a ton.
Yeah, your Uzi weighs a ton. That's just kind of a fun cigar for gun people to have.
I like the Kentucky. I think
Kentucky Fire Cured.
Yeah, it's also from Drew Estate.
Yeah, those are some smoky suckers too. And now, obviously, if we're going to be classical, we'll smoke a Fuente. We'll smoke a Hemingway. We'll get a Fuente Hemingway, and then we'll sit down with our
like Mozart classical kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what do we drink over there? Not the mint julep, the mojito.
Mint julep.
The mojitos at Casa Fuente.
Speaking of alcohol,
a mojito and a Fuente Hemingway. So there you go.
Speaking of alcohol.
Were we speaking of alcohol?
Yes, we were. It comes from Ryan Reiser, and he says, "How much wood can a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could shoot a gun?"
None, because I shoot the woodchucks when I see them. So that's the end of story.
End of story.
Yeah, end of story. There's actually probably a lot more woodchucks in Ohio now that I've moved away.
How about one from Roy Springer says, "Why do people who bash on certain calibers of weapons never man up and volunteer to get shot with them?"
Well, I mean, nobody wants to. My good friend Walt Roush used to say, he goes, "Nobody wants to leak. Not even bad guys. They don't want to leak, and they don't. But let's face it." People's like, well, you could die from a 22. Yeah, you sure could. So why don't cops carry, Ruger Mark IIIs? Well, because. And also, here's something. I'm going to leave you guys with this. This is what my good friend Walter Roush told me this at least 15 years ago. And take it for what you will. He said, American men talk 45s, shoot 9mm, and carry 38s. There you go. All right, that brings us right to the end of this particular edition of Student of the Gun Radio. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you had a good time. We know we did. For those of you that are public hour, public broadcast listeners, iTunes and all that jazz, we will talk to you on Monday. Actually, on Monday, we have a special guest planned for you, so make sure that you tune in on Monday. We've got an interview set up, and we're going to be recording it and hopefully dropping it. It's Monday's show, right, Jared?
Yeah, Mondays, and we've got a special guest for the grad program as well.
Yeah, we got a special guest for the grad program as well. If you're a grad program member, well, good on you, because were we supposed to record that today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Mookie.
Tomorrow.
Mookie's, okay. Hopefully he's feeling better. But if you're a grad program member, we will drop one in your box tomorrow, and you're welcome. Don't forget to download the mobile app, the Student of the Gun mobile app. You can take it with you everywhere you go on your Android or your iPhone. It's free, thanks to our friends at Century Arms, so do it today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, remember, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.